Hello, my wonderful, beautiful friends. Guys, welcome back to our Best Of, where the most dramatic, shocking, and unbelievable Reddit stories come to life. And in today's episode, we've got a stalker who showered in someone's house, a boyfriend who let his frat destroy a pinata shaped like his girlfriend, an adopted son who rejected his birth mom, and so much more. These stories just keep getting worse and worse today. So yeah, grab your snacks, get comfy, and get ready to have your mind blown. And as always, this voice only on the Rurfy YouTube channel. I, 22, female, and my boyfriend Matt, 22, male, have been together for a year and 8 months. Matt and I go to different universities in neighboring cities, about a 45-minute drive. Matt is in a fraternity. Important for later, it was Matt's birthday on Friday and went out to dinner to celebrate. After dinner, I went back to my university since I live on campus. The next evening I was on Instagram and I clicked on one of our mutual friends' private story and I saw Matt and a bunch of his friends hitting and stomping on a pinata. By clicking through more of the stories, I figured it must have been a surprise party for Matt since he had told me his only birthday plans were dinner with me. On the last slide of the Instagram story, I got a close-up of the pinata, and it looked exactly like me. From the hair color to the skin color, even down to my septum piercing. There was no doubt that it was me. I was really confused, and I screen recorded the stories, then I messaged the friend who posted the story. I asked her if that was me as the pinata, and she left me on read and removed me from the close friend's story. This just confirmed my suspicions. The next day I texted him and asked how his party went, and he acted confused and said he never had a party. I was confused as to why he was lying to me. I told him I saw it on mutual friend's private story, and then he completely stopped answering. An hour later he answered and said, "Yeah, the guys threw me a surprise birthday party. It's frat tradition not to talk about it though." That's when I asked him about the me-shaped pinata, and I sent him the video of him and his friends destroying it. He told me that it was not me, it was just a random pinata the guys had found. I told him to stop lying to me and that it was obviously me. I told him how hurt I was that he would allow his friends to do something like that, and all he could answer was that they would kick him out of the frat if he didn't accept it. I also brought up how if his frat had thrown him a surprise party, why wasn't I invited? I was only like 45 minutes away. I knew it wasn't because it was only guys because the mutual friend who had posted on the story was a girl who goes to his university. And I saw in the story there were multiple girls there. He stopped answering me and hasn't since. It's been a day with no contact. I'm honestly considering breaking up with him over this. I've caught him in lies before, but this is just too much. The video of him and his friends stomping the pinata was just so disturbing, and to find out that my face was on it. We were planning on moving in together after graduation, but honestly, I don't know anymore. Would I be the asshole if I broke up with him over this? That pinata situation was absolutely disgusting, wasn't it? But wait until you hear what this next family had to deal with. Some parents really think they can make decisions without consulting their kids. And this next one? It's going to make you so angry. I'm 16F. My parents split up before I was born. Custody is I live with my dad most of the time and my mom every other weekend, plus random staying with her if I want. Recently, my dad got engaged to Hannah and she and her kids are moving in. Hannah's kids' ages are 9, 7, 2, 2, 2. She is widowed, so they live with her full time. This made room arrangements a bit awkward since there's only 3 kids' bedrooms to go around. Dad and Hannah talked it over last night without consulting anybody, and Hannah came over this morning to announce with my dad what they decided. Apparently, they want 9 and 7 to each have their own rooms, and me to share with the triplets because my room is significantly bigger than the others, and I don't stay there full time. I said their plan was stupid. They wanted me to share with 3 toddlers. They said they didn't want me to move, but it was the biggest room, so other people should share. I said I didn't care if I switched rooms, because the more logical move would have been the triplets in the big room. 7 and 9 share, and I get my own. I said I'd take the smallest one until I move out. They said it would be more work to move my things to another room, and their idea was more practical. Then asked why I was so pressed since I don't even live here full time. I said not staying in the room 4 days a month was a sorry excuse to land me with a bunch of toddlers. And if they seriously planned on doing it to me, I'd make the custody arrangement change and I'd stay with Mom for the most part. I know she doesn't mind because both of them remind me I could stay with her whenever I wanted. This made Hannah cry because she just wants her family to blend together nicely, and apparently I was ruining her plans. This made Dad mad at me, and I'm not allowed to talk to Hannah until she forgives me. I didn't know this meant so much to them, but I'm still saying I'll stay with Mom longer if I have to share with toddlers, but my dad made me feel a bit guilty, so Aita. Sharing a room with 3 toddlers? That's a nightmare, right? But relationship drama? That's a whole different level of pain. And if you thought room arrangements were bad, wait until you hear what this partner chose over Pride Parade. Hello all. I, 31 female, have been with my partner, 31 male, for 1.5 years. We love each other. It has been rocky at times and we have nearly been through a breakup, but each time we talked it out and believed we pulled through. The main subject of contention has always been his hobby and subsequent club. He is on the volunteer committee, has meetings every Monday, and goes every Wednesday and Thursday evening, along with some Friday evenings as well as Saturday and Sunday mornings. He also spends several weekends away out of the year to do the hobby and uses holiday time for it too. He does admin outside of this also and has been in trouble at work for doing said admin during work hours and has even done admin during our quality time. There have been several incidents at the club, and with him being on the committee, he has spent a lot of time dealing with it. So much so, it affects his mental health poorly. He has even canceled plans and changed date nights with me to prioritize his hobby. This has caused many arguments and conversations which stem from him making a hobby his priority and how he wants me to just slot into his current lifestyle. I explained that this couldn't happen and we have compromised to try and make it work. I believe things had turned a corner. However, something changed today. I'm bisexual. The local Pride Parade is coming up and I expressed my want to go. We did not make any explicit plans to go together, but he stated if he was available, he would go. He knows how excited I was at this prospect and knows how much this means to me. However, he messaged me to say he was now doing his hobby instead and couldn't go. Now he said he was asked to go and asked me if this was okay. I felt like I couldn't say no, as in the past I've said no and been made to feel guilty because I'm stopping him from doing his hobby. I'm not that kind of person. People make choices. That's their decision, not mine. However, I asked him if he ever wanted to go to the Pride event and he said, I would have, but my hobby is more important. And then something in me just clicked. This event is important to me. It's something I'm excited about. It's something I want to do. The amount of times I've sat and taken him to his hobby, watched, helped and supported him without fail and sometimes without being asked. He doesn't do the same for me because it's not as important to him. It felt like he was saying, I'm not interested in the thing that you find important because it's not important to me, and by extension, you're not as important as my hobby. I didn't feel anger or hurt or disappointed. In fact, I didn't feel anything, and that's it. I didn't feel anything for or from him. No love, no support, no companionship, nothing. All the times I've given up my time, wants and needs to support him, and yet here I am with something very important to me and nothing. I felt nothing. The option was there. There was a choice, but I'm conflicted. I love him. We've navigated things before. My hobby is more important than your pride. That's devastating, isn't it? But at least you knew where you stood. This next story? A guy thought he was living alone until he discovered someone had been in his house for months. I'm a man in my 20s that lives alone on the very top floor of an apartment block. I've had short hair for the last 10 years of my life. The longest hair on my head is maybe an inch long, if that even. However, across my house I kept finding long hairs on the floor, like long brunette hairs at least 5 to 6 inches, sometimes longer, and they would be everywhere. Bathroom floor, in the shower, in my cupboard, in my kitchen, on old clothes, living room floor and sofas, etc., etc. I've been single since November and clean often enough that I'm certain it's not my ex-girlfriend's hairs. Plus, the color doesn't match anyway. She had solid black hair. These are more a light brunette. Plus, finding them in the places like the shower, where running water is hitting all the sides 5+ times a week. Anyway, I waved it off as well. I work with a lot of people and use the gym and bus sometimes, so naturally hairs are going to stick to my clothes. Well, one day, this past April, I finished my early gym session and got the call that I didn't have to go work that day. So naturally I start to walk home all happy that I have the day to myself. I'm on the 5th floor, the uppermost floor of the building, and the apartment is in such a way that there is only one apartment per floor. I start to hustle up the stairs and don't use the elevator since I'm sweaty from the gym anyway. Just as I whip a right to go up the last set of stairs from the 4th floor to the 5th floor, I see my neighbor's, on the 3rd floor, daughter coming down the stairs. We lock eye contact. We've never spoken before, mostly because we've never had a reason to, but also because out of respect I didn't want to make her uncomfortable since she's 19 to 21-ish and I'm slightly older. The most interaction we've had is that I've spoken to her mother and father before when bumping into each other on the stairs. I gave a confused hello. At this point I'm thinking that she maybe went to knock on my door to ask for something. A cup of sugar maybe, I don't know. I was expecting her to reply with something like, "Oh, hi, do you have any blah blah blah?" Nope, she gave a silent hey and brushed right past me. And only then, when the smell of my own shampoo hit me, did I notice her hair was wet, like fresh out the shower a minute ago wet. Now I'm not saying she showered in my house, or that I have a stalker that's been living in my house while I've been at work. She very easily could have just been there to ask for something. And most generic brand shampoos smell the same. But don't the pieces all fit a bit too well? Her hair color matches the hairs I would find around my apartment. And like I said before, they were everywhere, in my bed to in my sock drawers. And if it is a case of me having a stalker, how did she know I came home early enough to bolt out the shower in time? Our apartment doesn't have cameras. It's an older building from before 2000. And why would she be stalking me? For how long has she been doing this? We've never dated, never had a proper conversation. I maybe saw her 20 times in the past 2 years given that I work and she, presumably, studies or works too. As all these thoughts are buzzing through my head and I'm standing outside my door for a solid 2 minutes grappling with what just happened, I go to turn the key to my door and it opens without me having to unlock it. And I know for a fact I always double lock my door. It's the type with a lock near waist level and a second more secure lock with a different key around shoulder level. I drop my bag, throw off my shoes, and run to the shower. And yep, it's wet. I hadn't showered since yesterday morning. I'm a confrontational person. Not that I go looking for fights, but I'll definitely pursue an answer if something is bugging me. So back down the stairs to the 3rd floor I went, knocked on the door of my apparent stalker and her family. She opens the door but with the chain still on. I see half of her face from behind the door. Yes? Can I help? Were you at my door or inside? I don't want to make this a police thing now, but you came down the stairs and I know you were inside. I just had to get something. It won't happen again. Okay, bye, see you. Door closed. This happened last month. I've been cleaning my house every weekend closely now and got the locks changed and put a motion sensor camera above my door. It only films and triggers on the steps coming up to my door, so the 4th apartment still have their privacy. So far so good. I don't think she's been inside since. But looking back, I think she'd been living in or going in or whatever into my apartment since January, because that's my earliest memory of finding hairs. She never took anything of value like my laptop or the few watches I have. Seemingly, she just showered and ate some of my food and laid in my bed. I do now also always take the elevator and avoid the 3rd floor like the plague. I'm not really worried about my safety because 1. I'm 200 pounds and do a lot of fighting training, and 2. The new camera has never gone off once since installed other than myself triggering it when I'm home. Finally 3. I told the old retired husband and wife on the 4th floor that I suspected a robber was trying to break into my apartment last month. I didn't want to start spreading rumors and gossip and asked them to keep an ear out when I'm at work. I feel fine and safe, just creeped out. Like my personal space had been violated. Someone DM'd me to check my coats and bags for AirTags as to how maybe she knew I was coming home early that day. I don't have a lot of stuff, so I think I would have 100% found it by now, given how often I clean, but I'll defo do another sweep of my stuff. A stalker who showered in your house? That's absolutely terrifying, isn't it? But at least he caught her. This next story is way more mysterious. A boyfriend and his father-in-law were getting close until his girlfriend suddenly shut it down. So this is a weird one, at least for me. Anne and I have been dating for a little over a year now. I met her parents when we were 2 months together or so. She always spoke very highly of them and never mentioned any conflict that could have been the cause of the current issue. I've had some bad experiences with fathers in my past relationships, but Anne's father was a nice surprise to have. He's a very cool dude, and you can see he truly cares about his family and the happiness of every member. After I met her parents and got along with them, we would visit them at least twice a month. Sometimes it was Anne's idea, and sometimes her parents would invite us to dinner with Anne's siblings. Once again, those were always positive experiences, and both me and Anne enjoyed it. Then one day, her father invited me to meet him so we could get some beer. I invited Anne, but she didn't want to, so I went by myself. He talked about his life, his job, random topics, and I did the same. I had a pretty good time, so when he invited me the next month, I went again. So this became a thing. Each month we meet up to drink beer and talk. Anne never said anything negative about this. In fact, when I would come back, she would ask if I had fun, and we would talk a little bit about it. I was surprised 3 days ago to have her come and ask me to stop hanging out with her father. I asked if something had happened, and she said that it didn't. She just wanted me to stop. This was something new because we usually talk about everything as openly as we can manage. It was something that we made sure to establish at the beginning due to our past experiences. So this is a very strange behavior coming from her. I tried asking her if they had argued or if he had done something to upset her, but she changes the subject or flat out tells me to just stop hanging out with him and move on. I don't know if I should ask her father about this, and to be honest, it is not something that I want to do. Everything is normal unless I bring up this subject. Just today, she was talking about her family planning the birthday of her sister next week, and it was like nothing was happening. I don't want to make decisions without knowing what is going on behind them, but I don't know how to get the answers without having to bring in more people into this. What a post that was, guys. And honestly, our best of just keeps getting better and better. Some people really do make the most shocking choices, don't they? A stalker in your house, a boyfriend who chooses hobby over pride, a pinata shaped like your girlfriend. These stories are wild. And that, my friends, brings us to another end of our best of, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. If you did, hit that thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing so you don't miss these crazy, crazy stories.